get my thinking cap on.
Can't host a webinar without your thinking cap.
Exactly.
All right, well, welcome everyone to our Wednesday webinar, Thriving in This Market. I am joined here by our CEO, Pavan. He's getting ready, putting his thinking cap on, and we'll be ready to go. Apologize if
well,
you
let's
all,
go. We're already late.
Yeah, apologize. Just gonna say, if you guys tried to join right on time, I had a little technical difficulty. This system wanted me to do an update, and you all know how that goes. So that's perfect time to bring up why or how Morgan gets updated and why you choose to build it that way.
Yeah, this is exactly the reason why. So what happened today was Angel tried to start the Zoom meeting. She was very well ahead of time. As always, she's well prepared, except Zoom forced her to do an update, which created a bunch of security, IT had to get involved and everything. And so that bled into the actual starting point. And that's the problem with apps, is when you update them, everything stops. So Morgan is not designed that way. Morgan is designed to be pure web. So it has all the power of an app, but from a website. So you never get stuck trying to do an update. Now, today is we're actually going to be announcing a Morgan app. So then you'll be thinking, okay, we've been saying that it's a Morgan app, because there's no app, and now we're announcing an app. Why? Okay, well, the reason is because these phones have limitations, and I think they do it purposely. I think Tim Cook has his evil layer, and he says we're going to make sure that everyone has to write an app for an Apple device. His evil lair, wherever they may be, probably inside of a dugout of a volcano somewhere. So there are certain things you can't. They restrict you from doing from the app. Is there too much background noise? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you good.
Okay, so one of the big problems that you can't do from a web page, and there's no reason why they shouldn't let you do it, they just force it that way, is you cannot give a web app access to your contacts. And we all know how important that is if you want to invite a friend into Morgan or add someone to the chat or share a document, you need to pull up your contacts. And so to pull up your contacts, you gotta have an app, because only an app can actually access the contacts on your phone. So wow. That's why we did create an app, but it's a really tiny, simple app. Basically, all it does is one thing: is access your contacts when you give it permission and when you need it. So the app install takes seconds, and the need for ever upgrading the app goes away because it doesn't do much. And you can get the full featured capabilities of Morgan without ever installing it. It runs a little bit cleaner inside the app. You don't have, it's just, it looks smoother. You have more room on the screen. But other than that, it runs with an app or without an app, perfectly fine, full functions.
That's one of the many things I really love about how Morgan was designed. Just speaking from a consumer perspective, when you go to interact with a company or someone sends you a link to join, then you click on it and you go to your app store and then you download the app and then you probably have to sign up, and it's this whole long process just to get to what you were trying to do, and you're forced to do all of that. Versus with Morgan being the fully functional web application, you just click on the link and you're right there in the conversation with Morgan.
Right. And I've seen people when they use Morgan the first time, they get so confused by that. Like, really, this is all I got to do? So where's the app? Where do I install?
Yep.
So it's, you get, I guess you can confuse people when you make things too easy.
Yeah, that's
And
always the
engineering,
first question.
yeah. And then you'd ask the question, well, why doesn't everyone else do it this way? Well, it's because it's really, really, really hard. Right? You need some amazing engineers to figure this all out to make it work. So it's not that simple. Right? I think everyone would rather do it that way. They just don't want to invest the engineering time and money. And quite frankly, I don't think they can find the talented engineers that we do, that we have here in Puerto Rico, which I am actually calling and doing this meeting straight from Puerto Rico, from my house. And this is getting everything, it's a very busy house today. We're getting everything ready for Morgan Bowl. It's just a couple of days from now. And I'm going to show you guys get a special sneak peek into Morgan Bowls. I mean, I'm going to flip the camera around. So check this out. This is this huge screen floating on top of the water, on top of my pool. This thing is, I don't know, like 10 foot tall by 20 foot wide, but it gets better. If that screen is too boring for you, then you can go inside the house, and then there's this massive screen here.
Wow.
And if that's too boring, you get a 360-degree view. Right? As a video, you can go here, you can go here.
That's the place to watch the game.
All right, and then up there, we have the VIP box. That's going to be the VIP box. And here, I'm going to take you up. I'm going to show you I know that's my little kiddo over here, getting ready for soccer.
The future soccer star.
Do you like? So I'm going up to the second floor. I can get the view from the VIP box. What an incredible view from the VIP box. All right. And then, of course, there is a giant TV inside the box itself. And if you get bored of the game, you can always play foosball or checkers. The VIPs get to play foosball and watch the game at the same time. And if that's too boring for you, then you can always come up here. Take you up here. And for all of you who are in -2 degrees in Minnesota, this is yet another reason to move to Puerto Rico. I get asked this question a lot, and especially we have a bunch of people flying from different parts of the country, a bunch of loan originators, partners, bankers, and people still ask the question: do I need a visa? Do I need my passport to get to Puerto Rico? I said, no. Puerto Rico is U.S. territory. It's practically a state. It's almost a state. Right. So there's another giant screen up here where you can watch the game, and you can watch it from the pool. And this pool is nice and balmy, like 95, 99-degree pool. So in case all that excitement downstairs doesn't get you going, you can come up here and chill out. And over there on the horizon are the Puerto Rican mountains. And of course, you know that Puerto Rico is a volcanic island. Mother Nature created it, I don't know how many millions of years ago. So, and I can tell you, Mother Nature knew what she was doing when she created Puerto Rico. Let me flip this camera around.
That's amazing. 3 floors of fun.
3 floors of fun. And if you haven't booked your tickets to Puerto Rico, if you haven't registered, well, actually, it's too bad because we are full. So we have 500 people registered and confirmed, and we are full. So anybody else who registers right now, go ahead and register. but you will get a notice saying, "We're sorry, we are full."
Maybe a consolation Morgan t-shirt.
There you go. There's an idea. I think we should do that.
You heard it here first. So go to
Yes.
morganball.com, register, events full, but you get one of these super cool t-shirts.
That's a great idea. Breaking news.
Angel alert.
Angel alert. Angel alert. Morgan t-shirts.
All right, I'm gonna ask the question that I'm sure is on everyone's mind. What are you serving to eat at Morgan Ball?
Well, we got those cute little jelly bean boxes that we gave out at the New England conference. Those things are wonderful. We got hundreds of those, and but this time it only has one choice: red. You have to take the red pill to be at Morgan Bowl.
Love it, love it.
And we have a live pizza station that's going to be cranking out pizzas all day long. And then we have a world famous chef named Christoph Tedeskrosky. I'm sure I'm butchering his last name, but he is one of the top chefs in the country, and he was the chef for the Clintons, the Bushes, and many other dignitaries. He only does private high-end events. Only the special SunWest team gets to taste his cooking, and he's good. He is good. He's a nice guy. He's also a close friend.
You've got a star-studded VIP list going.
Yes, we do. Oops, I did something here. Hold on, my camera went crazy. We have. Can you see me now? There we go.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so we have Pedro Rodriguez, Baseball Hall of Fame. We have Angel Coco Pena, who is also a key part of creating the Morgan Super Bowl. Oh shoot, can't say that word. The Morgan Bowl commercial.
But just when I thought we were going to get through webinar without dropping the S word.
Yeah. So he created the music for the Morgan Bowl commercial, which is an amazing. This guy is a Grammy Award winner, one of the nicest people in the world. Amazing story he has. And we have another famous Puerto Rican artist here. We have several top PGA tournament champions that will be attending. Many more people that I'm not allowed to name. But we do. One person that I can name is Governor Alejandro, who was a former governor of Puerto Rico, and he was the one who invited us to the island back in 2012. And he's given us a lot of. We wouldn't be here if not for him.
So if you're out there feeling like, gosh, I wish I would have known to register earlier, make sure you're following us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you'll be the first to hear of any of these really cool, exciting events that we have going on. So you can make sure you get registered before it fills up.
Yes, and we got a lot of events coming this year. We got an amazing event. It's not our event, it's another company called Mindset Summit, which we're a sponsor, we're a major sponsor of the event. It's on March 31st in Vegas. We have a number of really industry heavyweights speaking at the event, including Mike Ferry, who is he's the godfather of real estate coaching. We got Jason Oppenheim, obviously our sponsor and a personal friend. He'll be speaking at the event. Some top real estate brokers across the country will be there. I'm talking about brokers who have hundreds and hundreds of agents underneath them. Will be at the event and speaking, and basically training. It's a half day of nonstop training on how to up your business volume.
Yeah, so awesome event for whether you're an originator or a realtor. You're going to have access to some of the top people in the industry, learning directly from them. Loan officers, there'll probably be a lot of real estate agents in the audience. So go to mindsetsummit.com if you're interested in learning more. It is an invite-only event, but you can get more information there.
Okay, should we jump into the more nitty-gritty details? We had a lot of fun this
All right,
beginning
we'll
of
get
this.
into the technical stuff here. Thriving and growing in this market. All right, what does it take, Pavan?
It takes good technology and okay, and I'm sure you all hear that all the time. Everyone says, "Oh, you need technology," but the question is, what is the technology going to do for you? Just creating Word documents, letters and spreadsheets, that's not enough. That doesn't separate you apart. What you need is technology that's going to do, it's going to be your personal assistant. That's going to follow up on your leads. You need technology that's going to do the nurturing. A lot of consumers, they want to buy a house, they apply, but they need months of nurturing before they're ready. Maybe the credit needs work. Maybe they need to increase their savings. At any one time, I think the stat is less than 2% of American households are in the market for a house. So that's less than 2 million people at any one time are in the market, and most of those don't qualify right away. Right. So the key is get the lead, but don't drop it on the floor. Right, because they will mature. If they don't mature immediately, they're not ready. A lot of agents, both real estate agents and loan officers, they get a lead and that lead isn't ready to go today. They just forget about it because they want to move on to something more productive. And I don't blame them because time's the most valuable thing. Okay, so now what you need is what if you had an AI personal assistant that followed up on your leads for you automatically. Right, and ran the nurturing campaign and stayed on top of them, and knew that okay, your bankruptcy expires in 4 months, and it knows that when to follow up based on, so it follows up intelligently, not just bombards them until they get sick of you. Right? There's no point in following up with someone every other day if the bankruptcy is not going to expire for another 4 months. And you send them a nice thank you note and say, well, we'll be back in touch with you when your credit event has expired. And then on the day that expires, that's when you call them. All right, so you call them a few weeks earlier, and you say, okay, you're gonna be ready to buy a house in a couple of weeks. Let's get you going now. Right? And that's what Morgan does for you. If you drop your leads into Morgan, it will do the entire nurturing campaign. What you currently do by yourself, by hand, or you have to hire assistants to do that, you pay for out of your commissions. Morgan will do it for you, and it's all free. And along with the AI, to make this a complete circle, complete package. Now, along with the AI is what we call Morganistas. Do you have the Morganista slide, Andy? So we can show them what Morganistas are.
I will in just a moment. You start explaining, okay. And I will pull it up.
So Morganistas are the magic behind Morgan. They're the team of bilingual people. Most of them are in Puerto Rico, and they are the ones who would be calling your buyers, your potential buyers, and they will, do the telemarketing, the nurturing for you. So they will call in with your brand, right? So if you're Joe Smith, realtor, or Sally Doe, loan officer, they will call on your behalf and say, hey, I'm calling from Sally's office at SunWest. And just following up an inquiry you made last week, right? And I'm sure I'm butchering the script. And they will do all of that. So along with the automatic email drip campaign and social media and Google retargeting campaign, there's also this layer of telemarketing that happens to keep your leads, to keep your contacts nurtured for you. So that way you can focus on one thing, which is creating new relationships and driving in new leads that need nurturing. Right? It's just a numbers game. That's what people, agents forget and get disappointed. Spend a lot of energy on some leads, and they don't mature for some reason, and they get disappointed. No, you can't think of it that way. right? You got to think volume. You got to get as many leads in the door as possible, right? And agents don't do that right now because it's expensive to nurture leads, and most lenders don't give you the tools to nurture them well. Ah, we go, Morganistas.
There they are. Dancing around headquarters.
It's funny. Those aren't really Morganistas, and they don't really dance, and they don't really wear lights like that. But that's how it feels. It's about the feeling. Right? They are as energetic and excited, and they're not all women. It's pretty even split between male and female Morganistas. Right? Okay. No, actually, the word "ista," the suffix "ista," is not gender specific. I looked it up. The suffix.
You're not only learning about mortgage and technology here today, you're learning linguistics.
Linguistics.
We have a lot to offer today.
Yeah, ista just means someone who is an extreme connoisseur of something. So, what the suffix means. So Morganistas are extreme connoisseurs of Morgan, and Morgan is all about helping you. So they are focused on helping you. Right. So it will feel like a dance, a symphony, a ballet that is ensuing effortlessly in front of you, and you will get to watch this beautifully orchestrated show as your deals close, so that you can relax and get back to work on doing what you do best, which is building new relationships and getting in new leads for Morgan to work on.
Right. And if you really think about it, how many more leads could you get and relationships could you build with referral sources and attending events and all of that stuff that would go into getting the application in, if you're not taking up your time with all of those things that an assistant like Morgan or the Morganistas could be doing for you. In fact, fun fact, on Monday, Pavan gave me a challenge to track all day the things that I do that Morgan could be doing and how much time I would save. Now, I did not log everything, but I will say it is very eye-opening. If you guys just be mindful of that, just go through one of your business days, and it might make you a little bit better as you're writing your follow-up emails. God, Morgan could be doing this, because that's exactly what I was thinking, as far as following up on things, writing out emails, making phone calls. Yes, there is some stuff that I need to do myself, but how much more time would I have in the day if Morgan was doing all that stuff for me? So we know it, we talk about it, but it is eye-opening if you track that.
There's so much Morgan does for you already, but there's so much more that we are going to be releasing. So can you give some examples of things that are on the horizon that you would see that Morgan doing for you?
Of things that are on the horizon. So very soon, Morgan will be able to talk directly to your consumers. So, if they call you and leave a voicemail, or they shoot you an email asking a question or asking for something, you can, rather than, spending the time emailing them back or looking up the information yourself. Well, right now you still can just ask Morgan for the information and pass it along. But very soon you'll be able to just send them a link. They will immediately, once they click on the link, be in a conversation with you and Morgan. And Morgan can provide that information directly to them. They can ask follow-up questions. They can get any information that they want directly from Morgan. And it's a three-way conversation. So you send them that link, you are also in the conversation. So you're able to, stay involved as much as you'd like to be involved. But how much time would you save not having to look up that information yourself and then relay that information. If there was someone there 24 hours a day that could filter those calls and emails for you.
Yeah, and I'm just going to flip this around for a minute. They're testing all the equipment, and if you've been hearing the music in the background, they just turned this one on as well, this TV. That's pretty cool. Yeah. What's this giant thing? to be in the hot pool and watching this giant thing. Too much fun. Can't wait for Saturday or Sunday. Let's see. Turn my camera out. There we go. So, yeah. So I think it's like email. People, if you've never used email before, you can't imagine how much of a time saver it is. But once you use it, you're like, oh my God, how did I live without it? And that's the way Morgan is. And as these new features are added to Morgan, where it'll send emails for you, well, it already keeps track of your follow-ups and it already follows up for you. But it will even draft, in the releases that are coming out in the next few weeks, it'll even draft emails and send them out for you. We use that internally. By the way, that's a feature we use internally today. So when you send an email to anybody in SunWest and you get a response, 95% of the time, that's the AI responding. So let the secret out. You think it's a human responding, but it's really an AI responding for somebody. Right? There are humans that overlook it to make sure AI gave the right response. You have a chance to double check it, but it's 95% of the time it's an AI that's doing it. That's why our emails are never late. They're always out within minutes. We never miss any emails, is because it's so automated. And every response is right on the money. It isn't these silly bot responses that don't really say anything, or these are detailed, specific responses. Because we have 40 plus years of training data to train the AI on how to respond properly.
And you mentioned something important there, that the AI responds, reads the email, crafts the response. If there's anything that needs to be checked on a loan, it's going to go out to the system, get the information, formulate this whole response. There is that level of human oversight, though.
Yes.
So that's when the person looks at it and they either say, yes, that's right, or they make the correction. So
correct.
Even though there are humans involved in that process, the fact that they don't have to read the email, go out to the system they need to be in, log in, find the information, export it, draft the email, add the information, versus yes, or we need a quick change.
Yes, that's right.
So
they can process, a single person can now process hundreds of emails every hour, as opposed to, dozens of emails, if even that much. So it's just the level of efficiency and accuracy, but more importantly to you as a customer, the speed. Right? You don't have to wait hours for an email response. You're going to get it in minutes. Right? And it's the same process that Morgan uses to respond to your request. When you chat with Morgan and you ask it a loan question or a scenario question or give it a specific document, it's the exact same process it goes through, same waterfall of analysis, and ultimately there's also a human just double checking it, so that you never have a bot-like experience. Right? And every time a human checks it, corrects it, okay, it learns, and so that the next time it does a response, it's a better response. Right? And all that means is that more and more documents, more and more emails can be, so that as it learns more, then the humans, the Morganistas that are overseeing it, they're pressing yes, send more often than they're pressing no. And that's the goal. The goal is to get them to press yes all the time. Right.
which
But
means
it's
they
just
can
like,
handle more and more, right?
yes, it's just like driving your Tesla in autopilot mode. Yeah, you got to still keep your hand on the wheel.
Yes.
Don't fall asleep. You still, it's just like you don't want your car blowing up, right? We don't want to blow up your financial future. So we still have humans overseeing it. Just to make sure the AI didn't veer off course and it's not going to crash into a tree or something. Just in case.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's funny. There's a lot of talk of an AI system that was recently released at doing these things like drafting an email, based on notes. And I'm sitting there going, we've been doing that. How long have we been doing this for?
At least, at least last 2 years. The whole we've automated our email system, 2+ years ago. But it isn't. We didn't buy something off the shelf bot because other companies have had bot-based emails for a long time. But we didn't go that route because the customer experience was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Those systems were sold on the premise of, well, at least 60% of your customers will be happy. But what about the 40% who are not happy? We've all had those bot responses. They feel terrible. So we took the time to do it right, so that every response you get is personalized, is accurate. It's just, this is your home. This is too much at stake. You can't just leave it up to a bot. Right. But then again, everything in life is like that, is it not? Why just your home? Why shouldn't every experience that you have be state-of-the-art customer service? Why shouldn't every experience you have feel personalized? Well, now it can. Now the technology is here so that it can, and your life would, the world will feel that it's catered to you.
So that level of human oversight to make sure everything's going perfectly, that we don't end up in one of those frustrating chatbot conversations. That's one way that our AI technology is different from what you see elsewhere. What are some other things that you would point out that makes Morgan specifically different from another AI?
Well, the other AI, like, okay, I'll give you an example. You can use the other one to create a listing. Right? You can ask it to write the property description for a listing that you have. Like, well, that's kind of cute, and it might save you, a couple of minutes, right? I mean, real estate, most realtors kind of do that anyways. You don't need an AI to do that because they already have listing templates, and then they have mail merge, and it replaces certain points. So it's almost, I mean, if you think about it, like, there's nothing magical about AI. AI is just doing the same thing that you're doing with the Word mail merge template, okay, and then some. There's a little bit more on top of that. Right. So most good agents already have that automated through Microsoft Office macros, or they're already using a tool that generates it. Morgan, on the other hand, would take that, and it will generate a whole listings landing page for you that's backlinked from our corporate site, which is a very high SEO ranking site. So your listing automatically becomes highly ranked on Google, and it will get it ready for it'll generate links for you for social media, for publishing on social media, and e-blasting. And then on top of it, a listing site also gives you all the different scenarios, right? All the different qualifying scenarios with the 3-2-1, the 2-1 buy down.
Oh, you hit mute. There you are.
I'm doing, yeah. Today I'm doing the webinar from the phone because I wanted to walk around and show you all what we're doing the Morgan Bull preparation. And then every time I get a call, this thing locks up. So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so it will it will create a listings landing page for you with all of the different financing options customized for that house and for your market. Right. So that's where AI is only as good as the training data, and there's no. The other systems are based off publicly available training data. Well, there's no publicly available training data on that information, right? You have to be in the lending business for decades to be able to generate that accurately. And that's what we have.
And then the other thing that I think is huge that we would be remiss not to mention is the warranty.
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Angel. Since you brought it up, you might as well explain it.
So anything that Morgan tells you is warranted 100% by SunWest. And you don't, at least any other AI that I've found does not, offer that promise. So you can feel confident you get an answer, Morgan does something for you on a loan. It's 100% warranted by SunWest. So Pavan, what does that warranty mean?
Okay, so if you go into Morgan, you give it some pay stubs, tax returns, and you say, okay, what's the qualifying income? Right? I mean, you can do it yourself, and all the loan officers that are watching, you've done this before. You've had borrowers come to you with, complex financial conditions, and then what you normally do right now would be is you put aside a couple hours and you crunch through it all. You do the math. You put into your whatever LOS system you're using. You check and double check it, because you know that when you get back to the borrower, you don't want to be wrong, right? You don't want to oopsie, so that you do it yourself and you check and make sure it's right. Right. Only to find out, and with most lenders, after you do all that, then you actually.
Oh, he got a phone call. It's a popular guy. He's having a big Morgan Bowl party on Sunday.
Too many calls coming in. People are getting mad at me. Why aren't you answering the phone? So you get all of these, so you do all this calculation up front. You reassure your customer. Then you submit underwriting. And then underwriting then throws you for a loop and calculates the income differently and says, okay, now this guy doesn't qualify for as much, right? And I know every loan officer that's listening right now, that's happened to them at least once this year. And this is only January, so I know it's happened at least once this month. Well, actually, we're in February now, so it may have happened twice. Right. So, but that doesn't happen at SunWest, and it doesn't happen when you use Morgan, because when you drop in the document of Morgan, first of all, you'll save you hours, because Morgan, you just drop in the documents and Morgan will get you a number, and it won't be one penny too low, one penny too high. It'll be right. It'll be right on exactly to the agency guidelines. There's no overlays. That's key, right? Whatever the agency guideline says is usable income, it will use it. Okay, whether that's Fannie Freddie or FHA, or USDA, right? Or even the jumbo investor, right? We have SunWest has many jumbo outlets, including its own balance sheet. So it will be right to the jumbo guidelines, right on the spot. Okay, so, and I know like a number of companies that I know, I can think of one company right now that went, this was like 7 years ago, they went belly up because they did a whole bunch of jumbos for Chase correspondent division, right? And it didn't meet the guidelines. It missed something here or there. And they had, I don't know, whatever, some $30-50 million of buybacks, and they just literally went bankrupt overnight. Yeah, because Chase wouldn't buy their loans, right? So, that's a dangerous business. A lot of loan officers don't really understand the capital market side of it, but you can't be wrong in this business. If you're wrong, the loan's unsaleable. And if it's a jumbo, there's no one. I mean, you're stuck. If Chase doesn't buy the loan, you're stuck. Because you don't have more than a day. When you get that repurchase notice from Chase, you got 1 day. If you don't do that, they put you in default. Yeah, it's a fun business, right? Whereas we don't have those problems because we're like we nail it every time. We don't have any jumbo repurchase problems. Repurchase problems of any kind just gets done. The loans close and we don't have to worry about it.
So how many times would you say, so we've been using Morgan internally for about 4 years. How many times would you say you've had to step in with that warranty that Morgan got something wrong?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you exactly 4 times, about a loan a year. But most of those 4 times actually happened in the first 2 years of the Morgan being released. So Morgan is it just nails it. I mean, I think it was I had a broker challenge Morgan on a Texas cash out recently, and he said that Morgan's wrong. You can't do it. I said that's okay. Send the loan over. Morgan's not wrong. He didn't understand the guidelines. You can't absolutely do it. It was a really quirky rule in Texas about cash out and investment property and this and that and the other thing. Texas is his own country.
Yeah, there's so many like intricacies to just lending, and then you get into regulation and then state specific. So, and those things change too, right? There's updates that come out. So you could spend so much time just studying these things to you get a loan scenario, be able to make that educated guess on the right direction to go. Or you can ask an AI that has all of that information built in and get one correct answer back.
Yep. And speaking of changes, so some really good news to report. We're now licensed in Georgia and Massachusetts. So now we are officially in all 50 states, plus Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. So bring it on.
Everywhere you want to be.
Everywhere you want to be.
Wrong slogan.
Yeah. The only U.S. territory we're not in is the Samoan Islands. But that's complicated.
Room to grow.
Room to grow. Yes. I've actually looked into it. It's very complicated to get licensed there and to operate there. So, nevertheless, we are everywhere else. So Micronesia is the only little place we're not. We got the approval. We switched it on. We're good to go. And it goes into just the commitment and longevity of the company. 42 years, and we've seen a lot of lenders get bought out, merge, or exit in the last 12, 18 months. We're growing and expanding, getting new licenses, and obviously coming out with new technology. And it's really the tech is the key, and that's what keeps our costs down. Costs way down, so we can grow and thrive and crank out profits in a very tight market, and offer you all abilities and the tools to get bigger. So, and the numbers do speak for themselves. 99.8% of our loans, right? We need to ask Jennifer for a refresh as of end of January 31st. We're on it. Okay. All right. So that was end of October 31st, I believe. November 30th was 99.8%. I think I'm hoping, or not hoping, I'm expecting January to be like 99.99% are going to meet the 8 a.m. approval commitment. Okay, so as you know, and that's that means that goes straight from you as a loan officer taking a loan application to actual approval, right? Not from submission to underwriting. We're talking about loan app to approval. So if I took a loan app right now, which is like 5 o'clock here in Puerto Rico, and I drop into Morgan by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, it will be approved. 8 o'clock Puerto Rico time, not California time. By 8 o'clock Puerto Rico time, the loan will be approved. Assuming it can be approved,
And that's fully underwritten, and that's the final underwrite. It's not like there's a second underwrite that comes in.
Yeah.
Fully underwritten.
Yes, there's not like another. It's not like, oh yeah, that's kind of an underwrite, and then an underwriter looks at it and would add more conditions or change everything around. No, it's there. It's guaranteed. That we have a warranty behind that approval, and that's not going to change unless the events of the borrower has changed. Like you went and bought another car, but you love that one.
Yeah. And that's the same whether you're a retail loan officer with SunWest or if you're one of our wholesale broker partners. All of the tech, the processes, the turn times we're talking about is all the same.
Yeah. So I had a broker reach out to me on LinkedIn, first time SunWest user, yesterday, and she was excited. She dropped in a loan application into Morgan, and everything went great. But then she was a little disappointed because she was like, the borrower didn't get his disclosures. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? So when we investigated, and we found that the borrower's email address that was given to Morgan was incorrect. So we're sending out emails. So yeah, Morgan sent the disclosures and everything, right? But didn't go to the borrower. I don't know where it went.
She says, accurate as the information you give her, right?
That's right. Morgan had no idea, knowing that's not the borrower's email. It's the email that she gave. Oh well. So still, some basic fundamentals of being an originator still apply. Garbage in, garbage out. Make sure you write down the email address correctly. Make sure you write down the customer's phone number correctly. Best practices. Yeah, listen to your customer. Listen carefully, take good notes, write it down, right?
And that's really as easy as it is. It's so simple that I think a lot of times people are like, well, there must be something that I'm missing. What else do I need to do? But really, drop the application into Morgan, upload the income docs,
and you're done. You're done. And Morgan and the Morganistas will do the rest.
Yep. Any other documents that we need, Morganistas are going to reach out to your borrower with the needs list. They can upload their documents themselves right there, either with the help of a Morganista or with Morgan. I mean, that's really all it is. Drop in the application, upload the docs that you have, move on. So if any of you out there watching, if you're a wholesale broker and you're not already partnered with us and you're interested in getting partnered, or if you are a retail loan officer that's interested in learning more about our retail side, you're in Morgan right now. Just go to Morgan. Tell Morgan you want to get more information about partnering with us, get more information about our retail originator program. That's all you got to do. Morgan can answer any questions that you have. If you'd like to speak with someone, just let her know, and someone will be reaching out to you. So we've got just a couple more minutes. Time flies when you're having fun. Any last thoughts for the group here, Pavan?
No, I'm just disappointed I didn't have a movie reference today.
Oh,
or a music reference, but it happens.
Can't win them all, but we did get a phenomenal tour of the Morgan Bowl setup.
Yes.
So again, morganbowl.com. Guest list is full, but you can still register, and you did hear it here first. We just implemented the idea.
Yeah.
You can still get a t-shirt.
Everyone who registers will get a free t-shirt. And
make sure you're
And
following our social media so you can hear about the events up front and get a chance to register.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Looking forward to next week. And watch the big game on Sunday. I was good that time. I didn't say it.
Yeah. I was waiting for it. Yes, make sure you keep your eyes peeled for a really exciting Morgan announcement during that game. That's all
We don't want
we'll
that.
say about that.
Yeah, the only reason we can't say the S word is that big football company doesn't like other corporations using that word. It is what it is.
You all know what game we're talking about, so don't miss it. See Morgan's cameo during the game. All right. Well, thanks everyone.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of your day.
But you think they'd be more accommodating after all that tons of money I paid them to be in the game?
You would think. Tickets.
Yeah, but
you've got somewhere.
All right, everybody. Cheers. See you later.